All right, ladies and gentlemen, please listen to this video. I'm going to explain a lot of things in this video that's going to make sense to you. I think it's going to make it click. Okay? A lot of you guys message me. Thank you for all the love. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for all the donations on the website. I appreciate that as well. Please check out the website. I built it for you guys so you guys can learn. Under the blog page, I post everything I post on Facebook is mostly on there. So this is, I'm going to explain not just pumps. I'm going to explain why builds go wrong, okay? I'm going to put a little more detail out here for you guys. I don't really like getting into this, but if you guys want to do this one-on-one, but I'm not teaching this online. But I'm going to explain the reason why there's problems out here. So this is a voltmeter, okay? You need the voltage at the pump at all times to be 12 plus. If you ever go under, you have problems, okay? I'm going to go over other things. This is a power probe. This is my favorite tool. This is a cheapo depot one for 20 bucks, just so I could throw it around outside. Connect this to your positive and negative. It will tell you the voltage. It will also send power or it will send negative. So if a guy shows up and he says the pump's bad, I could just hook this to the battery. I could go up to the pump, disconnect it, give it power. If it turns on, I know it's something in his electrical. So, and this will tell me the voltage everywhere. So you can do a voltage drop test just by touching it. As soon as you touch it, it will light up and it will tell you what the voltage is. These are awesome. So you're not holding a negative probe on the negative and trying to stick the positive. One more time, we're going to go over a wire. And I'm going to explain some stuff on the wire. Then we're going to get into builds. So, think of this as a Pinto, and this is a Lamborghini. This Pinto is only going to go so fast, right? Because it's got no engine, it's got nothing, right? This one has got everything built in it. It's going to give you the speed, it's going to give you the flow, it's going to give you the heat dissipation so you can get rid of all the heat. You're going to get the correct amperage, you're going to get the correct voltage, and you want a 1% drop. You're building an electrical system with a heavy load on it every time you come on and off the gun. So when you come on and off the gun with this one, the wires are going to start warming up. When you're on them for hours, they're going to get hot. As these get hot, that creates resistance, which means your pump isn't getting what it really fully should be getting. When your wires are cold, your pumps are cold, that pump is running sweet. This is going to give you everything you need, plus coming on and off the gun when it goes to charge up and it sounds like it's getting weak. You're going to notice a big difference with this wire on the charge up than this wire. This wire will drag, this wire will charge up quick because it can handle the load. You got to remember 10 gauge, guys. 10 gauge is 30 amps, 40 on the surge. Okay? Surge means no good. So if you have a pump that's 24 amps, right? When you're building, you round up. You never round down, right? Not in electrical, especially. So you got to go 30, okay? Now, you got to add your 125, 150 to it, okay? Then I round up again. So that's where I get my 40 amps, right? So that's why I run 40 amps on this. This is why I say 8 gauge works great on them, depending on where the battery is. Some of you guys like to run your batteries all the way to China, and you need welding wire or a 0 gauge wire on a run like that. You creating a problem to put the battery that far away, you're going to have to pay for the problem to get the energy to the pump. So if that's where it's got to be, you just got to put the investment. The reason why you want thicker wire, guys, is that's your investment. Put the bigger wire in, and you never have to replace it ever again. You put this tiny crap in, you're buying this stuff every year. You're chasing problems. You're not getting the full performance. The charge up is draining your battery faster because instead of getting clean energy to charge up your motor, it's pulling and creating resistance, which is burning up good energy. Okay? So that's why you want a 1% drop is you want, since you're building an electrical system, you want to burn as little as possible so you can save all the good. All right. So that's the reason for the wire. I'm telling you, it makes a big difference. When you guys are parallel jumping don't be using thin wire. You want to use thick wire. I usually jump mine with 4 gauge. So I use 4 gauge. I won't use anything smaller. So now let's talk about the builds. Somebody asked me this, and I think this is where some of you guys, I haven't got into this yet. And I really do. I got into it with a skid, but let's get into it on like a big truck. So say for instance, you're building a rig and you're gonna have 6 reels, right? Each reel is automatic, right? Push button. Okay. This is a builder. This is me as a design. If I'm designing a build, I have to know every product that's on that vehicle that is going to pull power. I need to know how many users are going to be on this truck. I need to know, this is part of building, okay? Is because you got to know how much is going to go to what. For instance, if you're running 35 amps, that's amps, okay? And if you went 8 gauge, 8 gauge, 8 gauge, 8 gauge, and 2 guys touch these buttons, you're going to burn up the place. It's very dangerous. So when you're building something and you hand somebody something, they might have 3 guys on their truck, right? Say this is water. Say this is soft wash. Say this is high pressure, okay? And they're all standing next to each other and they're rolling in all these hoses, all on the same circuit. How many amps is it pulling, guys? So now, when you add up all these amps, plus your extra, right? Because you gotta make room so it doesn't burn up your wires now. And then you're running 1 wire back to the battery. Okay? This wire cannot carry a load for all 3 of these to be on the same circuit. They should not be on the same circuit. That is a safety issue. You have to build accordingly. You cannot just it's like going to an outlet and putting 40 plugs in it. That's not smart. So this is what I'm trying to teach you guys. I'm not trying to get in people's builds, but when you guys are building, this is the stuff you have to think about. Okay, if I'm going to share power, I need to make sure that the home run and the wires that are going from this one to this one to this one, which should go to a bus bar instead of jumping to each other, and then to a home run, right? That's how I would do it. I call them home runs. It's from the cable low voltage stuff over there. But that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Now, if you have 6 reels on there and you have and then it's just like your burners. You guys run burners. Well, what are the burners pulling, right? I mean, I don't know them numbers, so I can't design it, but I have to know what I'm installing before I install the wires, because I got to make sure everything I put on a circuit can carry the load. And then I got to also install a breaker just in case these wires overheat, that the breaker trips at the battery, and not putting a breaker up here, because if they're all on it and say this breaker failed, these wires would burn up because these are not protected, because you put the breaker all the way up here where it should be back here. That's just building 101, guys. Like I said, if you go to your car, your fuse box is where? Most of the time next to the battery. Why? It's 6 inches from the battery pretty much. See what I'm saying? there's reasons why I tell you guys to do something. I don't ever steer you in the wrong way. I would never do that. But I'm teaching you what I've learned out in the field so you guys don't make this mistake. But on the electrical side of it, because this is where I see a lot of problems, this is where your biggest problems are. A lot of overloading systems, wires that can't keep up with the builds. You know, you have to understand all these numbers to make a build properly. I don't know what else to explain, but if you're jumping, just imagine if you're jumping all 6 of these, right? I mean, and you're running six gauge or 4 gauge. That's still too small, guys. This should be 0 gauge if you're gonna run it all off a bus bar, and then each one to the bus bar. I mean, it just depends on the design. But then again, then some of the bus bars that you buy are not rated for a certain amount of amps. This is why I tell you guys, you have to understand each single piece that you're installing. You can't just buy parts and put them in place, because say the battery, you got the batteries right, but you got a 20 amp, right? You got a 20 amp switch, but everything's a 30 amp system. This right here is going to choke your whole entire system because it's not built for 30 amps. It's built for 20. And you really don't want 30 amps, because if you're pushing 24 amps plus, you want room so the product doesn't overheat. So we go to 40, 50 amps so it flows through with no problem. That's why you don't go amp to amp. I don't know what else I could explain, but that's the best I could do on wiring. But when you guys are doing builds, please be careful with this, man. Seriously. A lot of you guys, I get it. You guys don't have people to lean on, but I'm here. I tell you nothing but facts. And enjoy it while I'm here, because eventually, you never know, I might not be here after I teach you guys what I can. Have a good night.